Okay, hi everyone. Thank you very much for attending this webinar here today. We are here, us three from FPP, to run through our refreshed recruitment solutions for you today. My name's Edward, I'm Director of Marketing, and I'm joined by my colleagues. So I've got a bit of feedback there. And I'm joined here by my colleagues, Julio, CEO and founder of FPP, and also John, Regional Sales Director as well. So us three will guide you through our refreshed recruitment solutions for 1 hour. We promise to keep the actual presentation to around 45 minutes if we can. And then the final 15 minutes we'll address any questions that have come in throughout the webinar. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat, whether you've joined us via YouTube or LinkedIn. Just type them in the chat and we'll monitor them and come to them as soon as we can during the presentation. So just a few housekeeping rules. This will be recorded and shared afterwards if anybody wants to refresh or anybody who can't stay for the whole period of time. Yeah, that's it practically. So without further ado, I'll hand over to Julio, who will get started.
Thank you, Edward. Thanks everybody for being here. And it's a pleasure to be talking to you wherever you are. For those that are not so familiar with FPP, I'll give you just a little bit of introduction. We started the company in 1997. Yes, we've been there for 27 years already. It's been a long journey to get here, going through challenges, several of them, Korea, Brazil, Mexico, Asia, subprime in US, Europe. Anyway, it's been very educational journey, and the industry is always evolving, as you guys know. And as a company, we also need to evolve. And the way we evolve is leveraging technology. We started as a tech company. Basically, we started this company for two reasons. Back in 1997. One, because I was an exchange student myself. And when I went to the UK to study, that was back in 1987. It was very hard to find universities. Today there are lots of ways for students, but at that time it was really hard. And also because I was an agent myself in the 1995, 1996, and I learned what universities, were interested, the difficulties universities had to advertise themselves, and also students. So we came up with the idea of creating a website. It's called estudionoexterior.com. was the first website in Latin America. And I didn't know any other website in the world, but probably they were really limited. It was beginning of the internet, as you guys know. So, and in 4 years later, we decided to go and organize events. So FPP has been organizing events since 2001. Our marketing team have here 947 physical and online events. So I think we can say with confidence that we can organize events. FPP is proud as a tech company, and we started very small. We are that type of history that started in a small garage and then became a very important player in the industry through the years. And we did that because we leverage technology. We always try to innovate. Sometimes, sometimes things are great. Sometimes, didn't work, fine, but let's keep trying. And this is our DNA. We try to innovate so our clients, you guys, can see results, and also through learning how the industry evolves. Today we're going to be talking about our events, how we have restructured everything. We think the way we've done now, it's much more clear for representatives, for you guys, to see what works for you and what's not. And so we made it in a very simple way. I think it's super clear now. And we are going to explain further. Also, we're going to be talking about some special offer, our discount structure. We have really good deals for representatives, for universities that would like to work with us. Then we're going to touch base on our digital solutions. FPP is very strong in terms in the digital world. We have email marketing, and yes, email marketing works. We are confident. We use this all the time. And also social media. We'll show you how you can, increase your brand awareness. As you know, every year somebody turns 17. Every year someone turns 18, 19. And these people need to learn about what is out there. So, and I think there's nothing better than today, at least, social media, because the students we work with, and I understand you're trying to reach out to, they're all on social media. FPP, as you see, we are very strong online. We do engage with students, with millions of students as followers. So we will let you know about the solutions as well. And finally, we're going to talk about the student world. The student world is FPP student-facing brand. It's a global community that we reach out to millions of students. That's one of the reasons why you see the student world as the name of our events. The student world was the largest UK student fair that FPP acquired in 2015, and we decided to use that name from then on. So with this introduction, I would like to ask my colleague, John O'Connor, to take it away and talk about our in-person events.
Okay, thanks, Julio. So as Julio was saying, we've restructured. We made it that we have 4 different types of events, 2 that are in person and 2 that are online. So we have the physical fairs, where you're going to meet students looking for a range of programs, the high school tours, where you're going to meet students and counsellors that for your undergrad programs. And then we have the online specific high school visits that we'll go into more detail, but that's for undergrad, and also the online postgrad fair, so specifically for postgraduate. So if we want to move along there, Edward, we'll go to the next slide. I'm going to talk first about the 2 physical events that we offer, which is the fairs and the high school tours. I've been to fairs with FPP in Africa, Middle East, Asia, India, all over Latin America, different cultures. But what is standard at these events is the tech that we have behind each fair, which starts from the reception and goes through to our exhibitor app and our app for students, also the FPP hub. It's all integrated, and it's all made possible by our own in-house IT team. Okay. As I mentioned, at these fairs, it's the only one where you're going to meet students looking for a range of programs. The other 3 will be either undergrad or postgrad. So here you'll meet students looking for language courses, technical, undergrad, postgrad, a mix. We always target the main cities. So, for example, in Latin America, we'll always go to Sao Paulo, Mexico City, Bogota in Colombia, Delhi in India. And then we bring on other cities to make it into a tour, to make the most of your time in regions. So, for example, Brazil, we'll do 5 to 6 cities at a time, Mexico 3 to 4, and Latin America, we normally do 6 cities, India 4 cities. We go to Morocco as well, we do 4 cities there. So just to give you an idea, we always hit the main cities, and then we go to the surrounding cities. All the fairs, as Julio mentioned, through our student brand, which is the Student World. As you'll see in that photo there, you have a banner with yellow branding, the Student World branding. And this is what the students know us as. We have millions of students that are connected, that are following us on social media, that are interested in studying abroad, but more about that later on. I'll touch on the next topics in more detail, which is the pre-screened students, the QR code on the banners, the apps for students, and the exhibitor app. And we also have the Student World app for students, so they can get information on all exhibitors before, during, and after the event. So they can see how much they match with each university, with each institution before they go to the event. They can see information on them, and then if you wish, you can actually stay in contact with them via the app after the fair as well. So you'll get all the students that you scan. So the student will come down, sit to you, you explain the benefits of your institution, and then you'll scan them, and you'll be able to download their contact information the day after the fair in the morning. Also, as we know how much you match with each student, we have another feature. So you give us all the information on your institution, the programs you offer, how much your programs are, etc. The students give us all their information, and then we can see how much they match. Each student matches with each university, with each institution. So if a student goes to one of our fairs and you do not meet them, but they match with you 70% or higher, you will actually get their contact information as well. So the day after the fair, you'll be able to download all those students that you scanned, and also students that you did not scan but match with you 70% or higher. This is GDPR compliant. When they register to come to our fairs, they will agree to this, to pass on this information to the exhibitors. Another important fact is we cap these fairs at 40 per fair, so there's less competition for you. So if you can imagine you're at a fair with 100 exhibitors compared to a fair with 40, you're going to get more time for yourself. The QR code, now this is like a tech that our team introduced. So before you go to one of our fairs, you have access to the FPP Hub. Those that view to our events will be familiar, but basically this is where you get all the information about the upcoming events, the logistics information. You can upload everything that you want the students to see on the event website where they register. And you can also upload like videos, the programs you offer, brochures that the students will see when they scan your QR code. So at each fair, we provide this banner with the QR code, which is connected to the FPP Hub. So for example, the student would come along, they'll scan your can you just go back? I'm going to explain a bit more about the QR code. They'll scan your QR code, and they'll be able to see all the information that you uploaded, and you can even change this the day before you go to the fair. It's all integrated. So they'll see the programs you offer, videos, and what's important, brochures. So they'll be able to see your digital brochures. So this means that you don't have to take a lot of brochures to our fairs. You can take a few, which we recommend. You sit down like in the photo here, and you go through the brochure in person with them. And if they would like a copy, you ask them to scan the QR code, and they can take the digital brochure with them. Another thing that I find when I go to the fairs, students will be waiting in line. They'll scan the QR code, and they'll read up about the information about your institution. So when they actually sit down with you, they'll probably have better questions because they've already gone through and got the basic information from that you uploaded. Another benefit from the QR code, let's say the student goes, you have a lineup of students, they're interested in talking to you, they scan your QR code, they're looking at the information, they see that line's still quite long, they'll go off to meet other exhibitors. If they don't come back to you and you don't get a chance to scan them, it doesn't matter, you will still get their contact information. So if they scan your QR code and you do not scan them, you will still get their contact information. Okay, let's move along to the next one. Meeting pre-screened students. This starts from the marketing campaigns from our marketing team. They're very experienced at this. So when they do their campaigns, they use a lot of different methods, filters to actually get quality registrations to the event website. So you can imagine you don't want to just put out, it's easy to get a lot of registrations to say, oh, we're offering scholarships at this fair, come and visit. No, we want to get quality students to the fair. So the first part is in the marketing. Then we get the students, they fill out their registration form, and then we have a pre-screening process, and we give an invitation to the fair to the ones that our system deems of a higher quality. Does this work? Well, from the exhibitors that tell me, I think it does, because they were always saying about the quality of the students they meet at our fairs. It is quite much higher than those at other fairs. So let's move on to the next one. I think that covers the pre-screening. Well, any event organizer these days has to offer an exhibitor app. We would do it. We have done this for many years. I think we were one of the first to offer an app to scan students. This is all done by our own team. So they developed the app, and they support the app. So when we're at the fairs, we always have an IT team member on hand in case there's any problems, which normally there isn't, but they're there. Our app works offline as well. You don't need to be connected to the internet while you're scanning. And basically it works like any other exhibitor app. You will scan their badge. At that point, you'll get the information that they gave us at the point of registration: name, email, phone number, and courses they're looking for. In the app, you can add information that's going to help you follow up the students. So for example, you can put in a star rating from 1 to 5. The students won't see this. This is just for your benefit. And you can add in some comments, maybe a starting date, anything that's going to help you or your agent follow them up after the event. So that's how the app works there. Oh, and also you'll be able to download all the leads the day after the fair. So, you'll be at the fair at night, in the afternoon. The next day in the morning, you'll be able to download those leads in the FPP hub that I mentioned before. So let's go to the next screen. This is a photo from the India Fair that I was at last month. I met a lot of families there, a lot of parents. It was quite a good experience. But just so you know, you won't just meet the students, you'll meet parents as well. I think that covers the actual fairs. If we want to move on to the next one, which is the high school tours. So this is very different. So on the fairs, we do all the marketing and we give an invitation to our database to bring them to a hotel for them to meet our exhibitors. This is the inverse. We take the universities into the high schools and we have mini fairs on campus. This is all made possible through our high school team, which has connections with the counsellors all throughout Latin America and Africa. So they are in constant contact with them, and then they select which schools we will go to on the tour. So as we're meeting high school students and high school counsellors, this is good to promote your undergrad programs. During the week, we typically go to 12 to 15 schools, so 2 to 3 schools per day, depending on the cities we're visiting. Always led by local staff. So for example, if you come to Brazil, you might meet me. I'll be on the tour with you. I live here in Brazil, or one of my other colleagues. So you always have someone that lives in Brazil that will be on the tour with you. So if you go to Africa, the same thing there as well. So we think that's quite important. The types of schools you'll go to are international, bilingual schools, or very good local high schools that they have their English program, but they're not bilingual or international, but their tuition costs are quite high, so the students going there have the means to travel abroad. This next point, known and off the beaten path, what we mean by that is we'll go to the major cities like all the other organisers go to, São Paulo, Rio, for example, Bogota. But then we also go to cities that don't get visitors from universities. So for example, in March, if you drive 2 hours from São Paulo city to the countryside, you are going to go to some smaller cities that have very good high schools, but don't have these tours go there. So we go to high schools that have never had these tours before. We went, for an example, to one international high school in the countryside of São Paulo, and they had students coming from 16 different towns around this main city that go to this international high school. And it was the first time that they had a group of universities go in and talk to their students. So that was a quite good experience for the universities that were on that tour. We also cap our tours to 10 universities per tour, so you have less competition. Okay, the maximum number of universities that will be on the tour will be 10. Of course, you're going to get a chance to meet with the high school counsellors in person as well to talk about your programs, get them at top of mind as well. So, and you can start building a relationship with them. And it's these tours are 5 days, so they're inclusive of accommodation, local transport, pickup from the airport between cities. We have a welcome dinner, farewell dinner, culture excursions. We'll go to local, tourist spots to show you around. So it's just not all visiting high schools. You'll get time to do a bit of relaxation as well. I think we can move on from that and go to the next one. And just to go over, so these are just photos from our ones we did in March. So you'll get to meet the students face-to-face, of course, the counsellors face-to-face. We limit this to 10 universities, as I said, which gives more time for you with the students. So you're not in competition with 20 different universities. Yeah, just some good photos. You get, if you make those connections, you can make an impact with them like face-to-face. So, in person has its benefits, virtual has its benefits, but we're talking about the high school tours here, which has been a great experience for the universities that have joined us. As I said, we'll have welcome dinners, we'll have social activities. So to give you an idea of the program, it'd be 5 days. You would arrive in the first city on the Sunday or Saturday. Sunday night, you'll have a dinner with the FPP staff and the other university reps, get to know each other. And then on Monday, we start the tour. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all visiting schools and doing some cultural activities in between. Then we have a dinner on the Friday night, and the accommodations included on the Friday night. And then Saturday night, you're free to go off to wherever you need to go. So that covers it for the second semester. We have 4 tours coming up, but we'll cover that later on in the presentation. So I think we're going to move on to online offerings now. And Edward, you're going to take over, right?
Yes. Thank you, John. Thank you. Hi, everyone. So yeah, now let's move on to some of our online options. The first one being online high school visits. Now, these are essentially very much like what John just described about the physical high school tours, except they are online versions of these events. Now, we run these. This is obviously exclusively for undergraduate recruitment. And we run these in partnership with specific mostly international schools in all different parts of the world. Obviously, being online, the geographic barriers are far fewer. We can approach schools in any part of the world. There can be really good international, private, bilingual schools in any town and city in any parts of the world that perhaps visiting physically might not be so realistic to do. Just to give an example, we've had fairs in Mongolia where we've had about 12 or 13 international schools in Ulaanbaatar, the capital of Mongolia, where all the international schools are based. It's obviously quite a sparsely populated country, but we have great international schools in the capital with hundreds of students that are very able. They have the means, the ability, and the skills to go abroad for their undergraduate degree. So these are fantastic ways to connect with these students that perhaps physically would be a bit more cost prohibitive and logistically challenging. The emphasis of these online high school visits is very much, as it says there, emphasis on value over volume. And by that, what we mean is that they bring fewer students in comparison to very busy physical in-person fairs like the first type of event John was describing, our physical recruitment fairs. But the students are very well engaged. We work very closely with the high school counsellors at these schools to engage their students and parents to attend the fair online. Sometimes they happen during the school day, in which case we have a very high attendance rate, and high basically has meant we've had as high as 90% before in some of our online high school visits of students that register actually attend, and that's extremely high indeed. Often we have the schools joining, or the students rather, joining these events after the school day. Sometimes if we have 4, 5, 6 schools coming together, bringing their students all together for one of these events, it's challenging to have these events during the school day to fit with the academic schedule of all participating schools. So in those cases, we usually have it after the school day. But even then, we frequently have attendance rates of 70% and above, often way higher. These students are pre-screened, just like with all our other events. The students for these events are required to register in advance, and part of that registration process is that they share their academic and personal preferences in a short registration form, and this generates the unique percentage matching score each student gets versus the exhibiting institutions for that event. So that's a really handy way for you as an exhibitor during the event, and of course after these events, to see how well each of those students matches with what your institution offers. What you get as part of these events are your own customizable virtual booth. So if any of you have joined any of our online events in the last 6 months or so, you probably will have noticed we've got a brand new online platform that replaces our previous platform that was used up until last year, which was very successful, but it's now been upgraded considerably to be more immersive, more gamified, and a far more immersive experience for both exhibitors and students. And this is something we've seen high schools and students respond very positively to. They find this is a very valuable addition to their university guidance work that they do within the school. Very accessible. So you as an exhibitor would get your own customizable virtual booth. You can design, build it as you wish, color code it, upload your logos, your color schemes, etc., and of course populate it with your materials. So that's your brochures, program brochures, videos, campus photos, or all of this information that you want these particular students to be able to access, view, and save during these events. Online high school visits tend to run for around between 1.5 to 2 hours, sometimes a bit more if we have a lot of schools involved. So they're shorter than our in-person events. But this tends to be plenty of time to have quality conversations with the students that arrive, often with their parents too. And it's also an opportunity for you as exhibitors to connect with the high school counsellors who are often in attendance themselves too. Our platform provides the facility for exhibitors and any representatives to engage with students over live interaction, and that's default by text chat, but it can also be over video, audio call, whatever works for you as representatives, and of course, whatever works for students. And all interactions are synced and saved to your FPP hub, so that you and also the students from their side via their own student accounts will be able to refresh themselves after the events, review any of the conversations they had. For the students, they'll be able to see all of the materials that they may have saved from your virtual booth. And for you as exhibitors, you'll be able to access all of your leads from that event within 24 hours, just like with our other events. Just to give a bit more information on the types of events that we've run before. So here are a few case studies from 2022, 2023. So they do vary in size. You can see there we had in 2023 an online high school visit with a group of 4 high schools, Wellington College, China, so there's a great group of schools. We had over 600 students in attendance for this event with 76 exhibitors, so that's a ratio of around 8 to 9 per exhibitor. It's at that point that I want to bring your attention again to the point of value over volume, that having a few really good in-depth conversations with students and parents that are very prepared, have done their research, and have the means and ability and desire to study abroad, and have done their research beforehand, is perhaps far more better use of your time than very large online events where you may have loads of interaction, but the quality of those conversations can be quite varied. We've also run events in, as you can see here, all different parts of the world. Lagos in Nigeria, we've had several events over the last 2-3 years. The most recent one was last year for these 2 high schools in Lagos. We had over 200 students attend. And as you can see, we had a smaller number of exhibitors there, but the ratio again is around 8, 9, 10 students per exhibitor. Thailand, we've had a big group of schools join there, almost 400 students in attendance. Indonesia, Philippines, and likewise we've had other very large fairs. So just to give an example, on the other end of the scale, let me just move my camera there so you can see a bit better. We had a very large fair indeed in 2022 with a large group of around 21 high schools across China, all different cities in China. Arranging this as a physical tour would have been practically impossible, or would have taken a lot of time for exhibitors to be able to visit all of these schools. So it was a very cost-effective and very easy way to connect with students from these schools. We had well over 1,300 students online in attendance, and over 100 exhibitors were online. And this particular event ran for, I think it was almost 3 hours, obviously due to the number of students. Similarly, in 2022, we had a very large fair in Germany for a group of international schools, and there's another example, as you can see. And like I mentioned, we've had events in Turkey, in Azerbaijan, in Mongolia. Next semester, we've got a great selection of events coming up, around 9 of them. Some top events I can say right now, we'll look at them in a bit more detail later. We have one in Greece where we've got around 12 or 13 international high schools across Greece that will be attending. Already at this stage, and this event is happening in November, at this stage, the high school counsellors are very engaged. They're very keen to get their students on board with this, and they're announcing it already to their student and parent communities. So these events are very much focused on creating and nurturing very strong working relationships with the high schools, with the counsellors, to ensure that attendance is very high and that the students are as prepared as possible beforehand to maximize the quality of the kind of interactions that you as exhibitors can expect. So that wraps up the online high school visits. I will hand over to Giulio, who will talk a little bit more about our other type of online event, which focuses on postgrad recruitment.
Thank you, Edward. Yes, so as we said in the beginning, we restructured our events. So we have the Student World physical fairs, which accepts different types of events, and it's a big event and takes place in capital cities, and we try to visit new cities from time to time. And then we also have the physical high school tours where we have mini fairs inside prestigious high schools in different areas in Brazil and Africa, and sometimes Latin America. Then Edward just explained about our online high school visit, and which is 100% targeted to undergraduate recruitment. And now the fourth one and last one is the online postgrad fairs. So why we did this? Before we had like something we used to call 3D online fairs, and we would accept institutions that wanted to reach out to undergraduate students or postgraduate students, right, to recruit those type of students. But it was sometimes we would have more of one type of students, the other one we had more of the other type of students. So it was very confusing. This way, if you do not want to recruit students for your postgrad programs, you know that you should not attend this type of event. However, if you do, this is the one we recommend. So it takes place in the same platform. It's just like Edward described. It's our new platform. We have been evolving the platforms since we launched. Last year. We had a different model, and then we switched into this model, and we've been having, and our IT has been launching different features all the time. So that's the platform our online events take place. And for this one, differently from the online high school visits, where we do not promote online, 100% of students attending those type of events are students from those high schools participating in the event. So it's 0 promotions outside, right? It's 100%. You know that 100% of students attending those events are from those high schools. Here, we promote online. So our marketing team will promote the event if the event is for Brazil. So we're going to reach out to Brazilian students, and we do 100% online. And we do invite some students in our database, but mostly close to 100% is online promotions. So we use Google, Instagram, and different social networks, right? And these programs, the platform is great because you can talk to several students at the same time, text, or you can invite those students that you feel you should to invite on a one-on-one video talk. And students looking for postgrad programs, they're more mature. They are, they want to do things themselves, and they are more. They are, what can I say? They are. It's okay for them when they are 22, 23, 24. They like using the system. Also because we reach out to students from lots of different cities. It's common that these events are attended by students from sometimes 300 different cities, 1,000, even 1,000 different cities. We've had events in Latin America that we received the students registrations from over 1,000 different cities. So I think this is an amazing way for universities to brand and get leads from so many different cities. Again, so the platform is basically, it's the same, and it's it's for we only accept universities that are promoting their masters and PhD, because all students that visit these events are expecting to meet this type of institution. Can you go ahead, Edward? Oh, as you move, just so you know, same thing as we do for in-person events, we do for online events. You will get all the leads of students that come to your booth, and all the leads that did not come to your booth, to your virtual booth, or to your in-person, if it's the case, but match with you 70% or higher. The matching is done by algorithms, because students answer questions and universities also answer equivalent questions. So we know how much each student matches with each university. So if they may match 50%, 62, 67, 71, 75, 85. What does that mean? Means that they match some different priorities, different parts of what they think it's important. You offer. Maybe you offer the right price, the right programs, the right location, but not the right university size or things like that. So we consider 70% or higher very good leads for universities. So what we do is we give attendees those bonus leads, because we are here to help, right? And we are here to help students as well. I go back to when I started. When I went abroad, it was so difficult to find different opportunities. So we think that by doing this, we are helping students and universities, connect and see at the end if it's the right match. Now here, it's a you can find all our events on FPP. If you go to FPP websites, fpp.world/events, you are able to see all the events and see more information. But just as an idea, we are doing events in Brazil. We're visiting this semester. We decided to skip Rio, skip Brasilia, for instance, because they are students there are fatigued with events. They have seen events all the time from many companies, right? So they don't get excited about that. So we decided to include very good cities that are, let's say, out of the beaten track. Maceió is one. Recife is another one. Is a bigger city, and with the U.S., for instance, U.S. consulate in there. So you have Fortaleza. It's another big city. Recife, Fortaleza, they have programs where they are doing with their public system, where they want every student to know English. So they are sending like 200 students a year abroad on English programs. And so we feel that they are missing. And we are absolutely sure that events in Maceió, Recife, and Fortaleza, students are going to be super engaging. They're going to be really glad that they finally have the chance to meet universities as other parts of the country do. And there's the society, it's always, you have very rich people in every city. So we are expecting very good events in those 3 new cities. Then India. We have been doing India for many years, and we usually we always go to 4 cities, and we always do New Delhi and Mumbai, and sometimes one semester we do Bangalore and Pune, or we do Chennai and something else. So this September we're doing New Delhi, Bangalore, Chennai, and Mumbai. We had an amazing events now in April. So we are happy, and the way we promote in India in our events, we always like to have, actually most of our events, we like to bring governments to our events. So very often we have representatives from the US Embassy, we have sometimes Education USA, or we have the Canadian Mission, or we have the Spanish government, or Education Island, things like that. So they understand that our events are not an agent event. It's an event, and that's how we market that. Say, come and meet the universities directly. And by having this government's representations, that makes our events more important. Because there are lots of events, right? So when we bring different governments, the government of France, the government of US, Canada, so that makes the event sound more important and worth their while. Then we in Latam, we're always doing events for 20 years. So this time we're going to visit 3 cities in Colombia. Colombia, as you know, in Latin America, the largest markets for you guys are Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. These are the 3 countries that send more people, most students abroad. We also like to visit some other countries like Quito, Ecuador, Peru, and Chile. This is what we did this time, and the events were great, and we're doing that again. Mexico, we usually do 3 cities, sometimes 4. So we are doing 3 cities now in Mexico, and next year, February, we are going to do 4 cities. We plan to do France as well, and I'm sorry, yeah, Lyon. We usually do Europe once a year, and we usually do Spain and Italy. France is going to be the first time for us. We have staff in France, so that makes it easier to coordinate things. We also do at the end, like especially for Canada, I study in Canada events. We do it in Morocco, Tunisia. We have been doing this we did it several times before COVID, and then we started last year again. And the events are really great. That's the feedback we get. In terms of high school tours, which is really an amazing type of event where John explained, we are doing 2 tours in Brazil, one covering the south, one covering the northeast. And we mix the really traditional schools to schools that are really good, but they are out of the beaten track, because there are several companies bringing universities to high schools, but sometimes, those high schools get so many university visits, they don't get excited about that. So we like to mix some other schools a bit out of the way, but the students, university schools that are really good, but they don't get many visits. They don't get visits often. So, and we like this approach, and we will continue doing that because we see that works. We also have 2 tours in Africa, one covering the West and one covering the East. What else? The online postgrad fairs, again, only for those universities recruiting for master's, PhD. We have one in Brazil, Latin America, and Mexico, India. So we have these events also near the in-person main events, the student world. So you can use as a strategy. In person, yes, in person is really good because there is the vibe. It's important to see the students see you in person. But it's impossible to go to 300 different cities, right? India is an amazing market, and we go to 4 cities. But how about all the other cities? It would be so expensive to visit 7, 10, 20, 40 different cities, right? So we add the online fair about 3 weeks apart from the in-person events. So you can use the strategy where you can use a lot less of your budget. You visit the capital cities, and then you reach out to students that are not in the capital cities as well through our online event. So that's what we, when you compare online and in person, the difference is, okay, online is much cheaper, but perhaps it's less impactful. In person is more impactful, but it's so much more expensive, time consuming, and all the difficulties in terms of geography, right? Reaching out many cities. So by sort of using both in your strategy will increase substantially the number of leads you will acquire from one region without breaking the bank, let's say, right? So, and for the online high schools, I love those events. We have in different parts, in different regions of the world, very different, that perhaps you wouldn't consider to go in person. But we give you opportunity to visit them online and see, if students really like what you have, maybe you can consider to go in person in the future. Who knows, right? So we have these events: Pakistan, Gulf, Central Asia, Mongolia, Germany, Azerbaijan, Georgia, Western Australia. Yeah, Australia, yes. The high schools are very excited about having the event, so why not? Australians, they do go to UK in small numbers, yes, but they do travel, right? They go to UK, they go to Canada, they go to the US. And so, we think it's very inexpensive. One event like that is below $1,000. And then you can test the market, test the market, and, see for yourself if you would like to add that to your strategy. Also China, of course, and Greece, as Edward explained. Okay, in terms of our discount structure, what we have, if you do 4 events, you get 25% discount, which means you pay 3 cities and you go to 4. If you register for 8 events, we give you more than that, okay? So you get 30% discount. And if you decided to go to 12 different events with us, you get 35% discount. That's a huge, huge discount. We know, because we know how expensive it is for us to organize events, pay hotels, venue, and really, in order to bring very good quality ratio to the event, it's so expensive. You probably promote online, and you know how much that costs, right? When we screen students, that means we pay for students that we decline at the end of the day to send an invitation. So that makes our cost a lot more expensive. So, we are happy to offer this. These events are for our online and for our in-person events, but not for the physical high school tours, of course, because that it's all inclusive. You get hotels, you get transportation, flights in between cities if we have food and things like that. So that's not, but we cap at 10. Why do we cap at 10? Because we think that more than 10, it's going to be more competition, right? And as you know, these high schools, they don't have 500 students. Sometimes they have 60. Each one will have 60 students, 50 students, 80 students. So we think 10 is a good number for the high school. But more than that, we think it's too much. It's not beneficial to you anymore, right? It would be beneficial for us because we would collect more revenue. But again, we need to balance, and we think that that's a good number. Edward, can you move? Just as an example, we have here some examples. You see, if you decided to go to different cities, you see at this page you see different discounts, right? The price comes down quite a lot. Why are we doing 35% discount? Such a big discount if you come with us, because we want you to try us, like to at least 12 different cities in the semester. We know we're going to do something good for you, and we want you to try. So that's it's good for us that you attend more cities. So basically, this information is on the website. You see, if you go for our early bird, for instance, the in-person events cost $2,500. If you go to 4, of course, you have one of them is free. Okay. So again, here price would come down from 10,475 to 7,856, and etc. With all, of course, if you go to more cities, you get a better deal. And of course, this is the early bird discount. It goes up to June 30th. Of course, if you need 1 or 2, 3 more days, something like that, we are flexible. Just let your sales representative know about that. We will work with you. Also, if you want to, because we cap at 40, some cities we are very confident that we will sell out quickly. So if you want to register now and only be invoiced beginning of July due to fiscal year, talk to your sales representative. We will see what we can do, but at least you save your spot. Can you move on, Edward, please? Here are some examples. Imagine you go to 12 physical recruitment fairs. You would pay early bird, you would pay $30,000, right? But with the 35% discount, you would pay only $19,500, or the price comes down from $2,500 to $1,625. So if you compare with other companies, I think this is competitive, and I hope you consider that, because I think it's really I think it's a good price. Anyway, you can also mix 6 physical events with online. You can do whatever mix you do. If you do 12, you get the 35% discount. In this case, the price would come down to $13.97 per fair. Okay, and we have another example down below. let's say you do 10 regular, 10 regular, 2 special, because Bogota and Sao Paulo, they're a bit more expensive. We run the events more hours, but again, it's one day. We think that 1 hour is, we increase the number of hours. If you do 2 days, 4 hours and 4 hours, it's 8 hours, right? So if you do one day, 6 hours, it's almost as much, right? So, and you can save on hotels. And so we think that we chose to do it that way. So, Edward, can you move on? Now, very quickly, and I'm running late. I am so sorry. I'm going to be very fast. We have email marketing. Email marketing, we think it's a solution that really works. We do that. We do with clients. They see the results. We have lots of students, about 900,000 students are in our database from the past 2 years. So they're still very good contacts from several different 30,000 cities. So if you want to do email marketing, talk to us, and it's something that works. Can you move on, Edward? Yeah, this is the cost. Of course, this is like Africa, 12 cents, America's 29 cents, so on. This cost, it's like if you do the more you send, the price comes down, right? So you say, I want to send to 2,000 students. Okay, this is the price. Oh, I want to send to 10,000, to 40,000, to 100,000 students. So the price comes down significantly, okay? We use the Student World brand, and we embed, it's only your communication. We don't have any more schools. It's just you sent to our database, and we can only do that twice a month. So, so if you like to send, so you need to book in advance. This is something new. Our social media, we are very strong on social media, and we have this brand awareness and even lead acquisition social media pack, where we post on you twice a month, and you can choose to do that a month. You can choose that 6 months or 1 year. So if you choose 1 year, we are gonna post about you twice a month, and you pay $80, and we are gonna post you to all our followers on Facebook and on Instagram. Okay. If you want us to, let's say you don't have time to create an ad, you can talk to us. There's a little charge for that. We can create your ads. We tag you, and you can simply repost on your own social network. If you want us to boost, we have boost options, so we can boost and reach out to more students. And the advantage of boosting inside our social network is that our social network is followed by people interested in studying abroad. They're not interested in anything else. I mean, they follow us because they want to be in the know of opportunities to study abroad. So so this is something we offer as well. I'm rushing here. I'm sorry. If you have questions, do ask me. So this is the last slide. So the Student World is the FPP student rating phase, as I said, phase. So if you, the student-facing brand, right? We constantly grow. Why we grow? Because we use it a lot. We talk about all our events all over the world. So every day we have more followers. And this is something that if you want, you can leverage. And again, every year there's somebody that turns 18, right? Oh, there's one more slide. So that's the summary. Again, very quickly, we have 4 types of recruitment events: 2 online and 2 in person. Online, 1 only for undergraduate recruitment and 1 only for postgraduate recruitment. In person, we have 1 only for undergraduate recruitment, which is the tours, and the Student World Fair, where we welcome universities promoting their undergrad, their postgrad, languages, and so on. We get in the student world more students interested in languages and postgrad than undergrad. We do have students searching for undergraduate programs, but normally fairs, not only our fairs, any other fair, most of students are interested in either languages and postgrad programs, masters. And we do have, and all events have some students interested in undergrad, but the majority is not that. So it's very easy for you now, I think, to choose what works best. We leverage smart tech. As a tech company, that's what we do. We have to leverage our tech. That's why we create all our technology. We are proud to be the company that have launched in this industry this smart concept of fairs in 2012, where we were the first company to issue barcodes to students and apps for representatives. And we are also very proud to be the only company to have its own virtual fair platform and launch algorithms, matching, screening. So that's what we do. We leverage our technology and creativity. So we have also targeted solutions like email marketing and social media. You can go to fpp.world and check all our events, and you can download our brochures, our very nice brochures, by the way. If you go to the fpp.world/events, we have some dedicated videos and brochures for you to download and have comprehensive information on all types of events. Thank you very much. If you have questions, great. If you don't, if you don't have questions now, but you do later, please do send us a message. talk2@fpp.world. We'll be very happy to get back to you. Thank you so much.